Good. So, welcome everyone to the Reignite Ascend workshop. And I'm so excited that you decided to make this decision and say yes to you. The workshop, we're going through the content, and it's so, I said, Olga, so it's touching my heart, to see what we got prepared here. And it's all because of we kind of offered ourselves up to divine, surrender to divine, and just let him show up. So that was my ask today. My ask was to ask, my ask was, God, silence my voice and you speak to us and through us and touch hearts and souls across the world. So that's my prayer. And I know it's answered. So I really thank him in advance. So if you can, I know we have a full day and we really want to try to stay on target. Today is our first session of our 2-session Ascend workshop. And again, as you all know, my name is Diane, and I'm so excited to be here with my brilliant and beautiful business partner, Olga Kamina. Say hi, Olga.
Hello, and welcome to our Ascend workshop, where we are going to dive deep into the Ascend method that is going to open up your mind and bring you to the new heights.
Yes. New discoveries, clarity, and reclaiming you. There's nothing more exciting than that. So I'm really thrilled with excitement. I gotta make sure I'm managing the door, right? So I gotta make sure I let people in.
Yes, don't forget anybody behind.
Yes. So as we start on in here, is there anyone just get share anything that you're grateful for? Just to kind of get it together, just laser shares, excuse me, laser shares, and then we're gonna go into a cleansing breath. Quick share. And if you can come on camera, do that. I know it's for you, Christine, it's almost midnight, and here you are looking as fabulous as ever. Hey Jay, Munera, you say it's 1 something in the morning. Okay, so let's get a quick share. What are you grateful for?
I'll go. I'm grateful, first of all, to be with you guys. This workshop just God plans everything better than we do. So it just came in the time when I needed clarity. My life is chaotic right now, and I'm grateful that He always gives me the wisdom to see that there is light at the end of this tunnel, then that I have to go through so that I finish it and learn the lesson.
Amen. Well, thank you. Thank you, Munera. Great
Thank
share.
you. Thank you.
Who else have a share? Jay?
Yes, I'm
Okay. So Jerry, can we let Christine go and then we're going to come back to you? How was that? Christine, go ahead.
sorry. I thought it was Jay. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here and just for the exciting things and to learn more about Ascend and for the community. I love this community and the ability to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Go for it, Jay.
We cannot hear you.
No, you're muted.
No, we cannot hear you. Maybe
No, okay.
reconnect.
Let me see. And let me see if I can. Jay asked to unmute. Let me see if that's no, but you're not muted on this end. Nope. So as you play with your volume, Jay, Let's ask Carida. Carida, can you give us something that you're grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful every day I wake up because, I notice that a lot of people don't wake up sometimes. So I'm grateful I wake up. Everyone say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that a breath, that I'm alive, that I can be happy, that I have good friends, that I have a family. I'm so grateful for 1,000 things. And every day that's what I do. I just go over, thank you, I woke up, thank you for this bed, thank you for this apartment, thank you for I just go down the list. I'm grateful for a lot of things.
Yes. And there's nothing like gratitude, right?
Yes.
Gratitude is what really makes things happen. It ignites creativity, so that's awesome. Hey Paul, how are you, Paul? Can you come on camera? It'd be great. Okay, so I guess as Paul figured things out, so Olga, can you tell us a little bit about what should the participant expect? Okay, Jay is saying, I'm grateful for the journey of discovery with others on a similar path so we can learn from each other. Great.
Okay, so let me just tell you a bit about what's going to happen. During the webinar, we only touched on the ascent method. We ask you questions and it stirred something inside of you. And today we are going to dive deeper. So every single question that we asked you before, we are going to expand on that. And we are going to do some activities that are going to help you to land for all the answers that you have to land.
Yes. So, hi, Paul. Thank you for joining, Paul. Great. So, we're going to ask if you haven't gotten the email that says make sure you have your pen and paper ready or your journal. Maybe now is a good time to do that because you're going to do some work today. Okay. So, today we're going to really get honest with ourselves, our true self. Okay. And as you said, we started off with rediscover what lights you up because a lot of us are saying we take care of everyone else. We hold up to everyone's expectation and we don't say yes to us. We put us on the back burner. And it's not just women, it's men and women. Like as we heard yesterday from Drew, when Drew said he's learning, he's going to make the decision to start saying no when he wants to say no, instead of saying yes to something he don't want to do. So it's really great to know that we can step up and really stand up for our truth. So we welcome you back, and we're excited to spend this next couple of hours with you. I have to admit the room, sorry. This is great, Olga. We may have to get an assistant.
Hopefully, yes, I'm praying for that.
So this is awesome. So now I'm just to say, we just want to get present in the moment. Oh, I thought I admitted. What happened? No? Okay, good. Okay, let's welcome in Queenie. And okay, so before we dive in, we just want to be in the present moment. There's nothing like being in the present moment. And this morning I took a walk in the park. And what I realized, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's a stretch to stay present. I had to be intentional and remind myself, listen to the birds, look at the trees. And in a split second, I start thinking about, oh, what am I going to have? Because I didn't have breakfast. Am I going to stop at IHOP or am I going to go to Dunkin' Donuts? And it's out of habit, right? So is that anyone? Am I speaking to the right audience here? Is that you? Okay, so the brain is constantly going. Every 6 seconds, we have a new thought. So we have to be really intentional to stay present. So as we dive in, Okay, I just want to say, and this is great here, right? We start thinking about the emails, the grocery store, and do I have the right Zoom? So yes, I love it. So to get grounded, I just want to ask you to, I'm trying to, I kind of change around my office here and I'm trying to get comfortable. We just want to ask you, I just want to ask you to just make sure your feet's planted firmly on the ground and just think about light and love. And we're going to take one, inhale one, we're going to do two. Inhale through your nose, feel your diaphragm, make sure your belly expand, that Buddha belly. And as you exhale anything, any and everything that does not serve you. And for the people that's here, I know you already know what it is to do a cleansing breath. So I'm going to start, and you're probably going to you can hear me with my breath. On two, 1, 2. Inhale. Your body is feeling happy. Your brain is getting happy. One more time. Amen. So, Olga, we
Yes,
focus through. I think I missed one thing here, Olga. One thing we wanted to
that's okay.
touch into, but we're gonna stay with that one breathing exercise. But then later on, you're gonna talk about box breathing, which is
Yeah.
one of Paul's favorites that I know. So now that truth and choice. Let me scroll down to my right section here. I'm sorry. What's actually okay? So now that we're here, let's talk about what we're doing today. And Olga kind of touched on it before the others came into the room. And so this isn't going to be another how to fix your life 10 step. We have so many of those. We're not here to sell you on perfect morning routine or tell you to wake up at 5 or journal your way to enlightenment. Okay?
Yes. So you can do that, of course. There is nothing wrong in what Diane just said, but
Mhm.
it's not what it is about. Today, we are going to talk about truth. And then truth means what is actually real for you right now. So it's not the Instagram post that you see, when, oh my goodness, when I see these Instagram and Facebook posts, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, everything is perfect, right? But it's not that. It's a different type of life. It's not the fine that you're saying, that you're answering to the question, how are you? Right? We are actually going to listen to our inner selves. The inner selves that is saying, I think there is something else down there. And that's
Yes.
exactly what what we want you to uncover today.
And I think that something is, I think I want something more. Is that what everyone is saying here? This is why you're here. I think I want something more. And it goes back to choice. Because once you hear that voice, you get to decide what to do with it. So as we go into that, Olga, we can share a little bit about the Matrix.
Yeah. Okay. So have you watched the Matrix movie? Yes. Okay. So remember Neo in the Matrix movie when Morpheus offers him the red pill or the blue pill? He has a choice, right? So one will keep him in illusion. The other, he will see the truth. But once he sees the truth, everything will change. Now, in his case, he chooses the truth, and there is no going back. Now, the question is, what pill are you going to choose today? The blue one or the red one? The one that you are living every single day, or the one offers you more, that more that you are craving for?
And that's so exciting, Olga, because I just want to go in because, you know, the Matrix movie, I didn't really see much of the Matrix movie, but all I remember is the blue pill or the red pill, you know? So the blue pill means blissful ignorance. And that red pill is deciding, is the awareness to say, that simulated reality, I don't want anymore. So I'm going to take the red pill and I want to live in truth. Right? So I think that's where we are right now. We're saying we want to take that red pill. So guys, get your glass of water and swallow your red pill, and let's go into let's not eat a delusion. Let's see what's real for us. What we know is real for us. So we've already made the choice, and that is great. And you've already taken the red pill just by showing up today. Now the question is, what next? So here's our intention together. Today is about tuning in. Today is about tapping in. Today is about leaning in. It's about you and your needs, your desires. Really quick, write down 3 things you desire. Real quick. Don't even think about it.
And if you are willing, you can share them in the chat. We would love to see that.
Yes. And
Here is typing. I can see that.
we respect that. But there's no judgment, right? So real quick, the 3 things, right? Judy, welcome, Judy. All right, Judy, grab your pen and paper because we're gonna put you to work.
Okay.
So
Okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am. Right? You have your 3 things down?
Oh, hold on. I just got on.
Okay, so you can catch up, Judy. So we're gonna have better health, happiness, and more money, more money, more money. That's right.
Okay.
I think we can move along.
Yes, let's move on. So we are very honored to be walking this path with you and being your guides in this spiritual journey. So let's go next to our first letter in the word ascent, in our method. And A stands for awareness. Awareness is here for a reason, because until you see what's actually going on, you cannot change it. You don't know what you don't know. And that's exactly the step where you get to know what you want.
That's right, Olga. You're so right. We don't know what we don't know. But when we do know, we can't ignore it, right? So think of it like this. You can clean a room in the dark. You can clean the room in the dark. You have to turn the lights on. Sometimes the light reveals dust, clutter, chaos, or a pile you've been avoiding for way too long. But the light doesn't make the mess. It just shows you what's been there. And that's truly amazing.
Sorry.
There's many a times I look at my dresser and I said, well, where the hell did this dust come from? It seems like it's accumulated overnight. But you don't see the dust until you turn on the lights. Going back again to awareness.
So awareness is like that light, right? It's nothing heavy. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just here to say, let's stop pretending. Let's actually look at what's real.
That's right. And here's the thing. Most of us are living on autopilot. Same routine, same reaction, same roles. We wake up already behind. We start because we're like, what am I going to do today? I got to catch up. We power through the day. We fall into bed, scroll, sleep, repeat. And we tell ourselves, this is just how life is.
But is it really? Or that's the story that we have been taught to live? So let's stop for a second here and make a moment to think about that question. What story have you been living on autopilot?
Hmm.
Diane,
That's a
would you
deep
like to
question.
provide some examples for that?
Yes, that's a deep question, Olga. And I think it's worth repeating.
What
What
story
story have you been living on autopilot? You know, you wake up at the same, my clock goes off at 4:30, at 5, but I'm usually up by 4:30. And it's because my body clock is already set. So even your body knows how to respond. Okay. So maybe maybe it's saying productivity is equal to being worthy. How many people are saying in order for me to feel worthy, I have to be productive? You know, so you got to be doing go, 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 go. What about don't rock the boat? It is what, let it alone. You ain't got to leave it, you ain't got to say nothing. Don't rock the boat. You don't want to stir anything. And we see that so many times happen on the job. Be stay quiet. People pleaser. That's right. You know, we stay quiet. So what? I know there's more in the chat. So are we missing more? You can put yours in the chat.
Yeah, Munir, I can resonate with that, right? In order to be loved, you have to please everybody. Or you have to be perfect in order to be loved.
Okay. Now here's another one. And this one's sneaky. And what's that, Olga?
One sec, the slide is, I'm not sure it's loading or not loading. Let's try. Yes,
Okay.
that's the next one. What have you normalized that is actually not okay for you? And you know, it's like, take a breath with that because it's a hard question to answer. Sometimes we tell ourselves that's not that bad. How many
Yeah.
of you have been telling yourselves that? Or it could be worse. Or at least I have a job. At least I have that spouse. Maybe not the best one, but at least I have him or her. I have a roof over my head. I have a title. It's not that bad.
How many of us been saying that and holding on to things that does not serve? I was in a meeting earlier, and one of the ladies said, she says, I want to grow. I know I have to expand. She says, but it's really hard to move on because the relationship, my marriage isn't working. And I know I have to really leave that behind in order for me to move forward. And that was really deep because one of the things she says, I've never said that out loud. So how many times do we hold in things instead of letting it go? So just let it go. So tonight I want to encourage you. Don't hold it in because you're not being judged. And even if you don't have to say anything, you can write it down on your journal. That's why we say get your journal or your piece of paper. So this way you can put it out on paper and really see it there for yourself. Okay? So I just want to be clear. Awareness is not about blame. It's not about making yourself wrong or what you didn't see before. It's about finally saying, I see it now and get to choose something else. I think there's a journal prompt in there.
Yeah, 1 second. I just wanted to read Jay's comment. He said, staying safe will keep me from failing. And how many of you can actually resonate with that? It's better to stay safe because we have no idea what's on the other side. And if I just keep myself in that box that is safe, I don't have any chance of failing, right? But this limits my growth and opportunities. This is so true, Jay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move to the next one. Grab your journal. If you still don't have it next to you, please grab it. Yes, Munira is ready.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're someone who normally thinks about what the right answer is, please, at least for tonight, let it go. Okay, at least for tonight, that's my hope. Because there is no right and wrong here. This is only you, and this is only real.
Right.
Judy asks what autopilot is.
Judy asked what's autopilot. We just doing things, it's unconsciously, so it's just doing. So Judy, I know it as a driver, right? You're so familiar in your area. Sometimes you're driving and you say, how did I get from point A to point B? You don't even remember because you just drive the car. It's autopilot. When you're a new driver, you got to remember, well, it's just one foot here. But I guess the people who drive the stick shift, you got to use both feet, right? So is it left foot, right foot? But before you know it, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. So that's the autopilot.
Okay, so you have your pen and paper, and this is the question that I would like you to journal right now. What am I pretending not to know? It might be something small or something big. It might be just a whisper that you have been ignoring for years. And I will give you a few examples. So it can be, I am scared to do something, or I have outgrown certain friends, or certain relationships, or I want something different from my life. Maybe even I am exhausted, as simple as that. Or I have been pretending I am okay. There are so many variations, just go for it. And I will give you a couple of minutes. Can you hear the music?
I
No.
have a question about this question.
Go ahead.
So the question, it means it's something I know very deeply, but I pretend that I do not know it. Is that what it means?
Yes. You push it to the side.
So
Okay.
you know that something is not working, but you are not admitting it.
Okay.
You cannot hear the music?
No. Maybe it's my speaker is up down low. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can take it up a little bit more. Was my speaker.
Good.
Yeah. What am I pretending not to know? Do you have your answers down on paper? As you have your answer now, we just ask that you come back to the space because that's a lot. That was deep thought there. And that's really a deep question. Because we're being forced to really speak truth. And that's the interruption. We want to interrupt whatever you've been ignoring. We want to interrupt it and say, I want to speak truth. So as you come back to the space, we ask that it's okay for you to take a breath and just come back to present.
And let's hold space for a few shares if you're willing.
Yes.
If you're comfortable, drop one word in the chat, or you can raise up your hand and share something with us, with the entire group. And again, remember, we are not forcing any shares.
That's right.
And sometimes when you are speaking, others actually can benefit from that because they get ideas from you.
Right. So I think Munera just dropped something in the chat. Let me, I'm going to use my other screen.
She said,
Okay.
I'm scared to be rejected.
Oh, scared of rejection. That's a big one.
And how does it manifest in your life? What do you do in order not to get rejected?
Again, going back to being a people pleaser and
Exactly.
swallow my feeling and stop talking because I don't want to disturb the peace. Okay, let's look at the bigger picture. Who am I to criticize the bigger picture? Even though I'm the I'm the cog wheel that makes every other wheel roll and go round, but it's better to silence myself, silence myself and not to interrupt the routine. So it's
That's
showing
a
up
big
in
one.
something somewhere else.
That's totally me. That's totally me, Munira. You're not alone.
No. How many times do you ever say going back to, that's where that phrase came from. Don't rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't want you
Yeah.
to rock that boat, even though it's the truth. They don't want to hear it. Okay, any more shares? I don't think I see anything else in the chat.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So we thank you for sharing. And if you're not sharing, that's okay too. Sometimes the deepest shifts happen in silence. So it's okay. But we do
Yes.
ask that you share.
Mm-hmm. Now
Okay.
take a moment, just a small moment, and place your hand on your heart. And just thank yourself because you're willing to look right now. You're
That's
willing
right.
to admit. And that's only the beginning, right? Because we are just switching up the light. Be it light, right? And just in the Truman Show, once you see what's real, you cannot unsee it.
That is so true. So what do we do with the new awareness? We reconnect because awareness without connection just becomes more noise. So next we move into the part where most of us skip, which is coming back to ourselves. So are you ready to come back to you? And that is self-connection, right? You can move forward. You can't move forward until you come back to you. So let's talk about something most of us rarely make space for, and that's you. And not the you, the parent, or you, the professor, or you, the partner. We're talking about the real you, the one underneath all of that, the one who existed before life got heavy.
And I remember there was a time at some moment in your life, when you danced without checking who was watching. When you said exactly what you felt. Remember, kids? Oh my God, this guy is so scary, or whatever. They just speak their truth because you hadn't learned to shrink yet. You hadn't learned to please everybody at your expense. When you made up wild stories, right? You believed in magic, in Santa Claus, in Tooth Fairy, and everybody and everything else. Maybe even you talk to trees and animals. Who knows? And then life started telling you who to be, what was acceptable, what was not, what was realistic, what was not, what was too much or too little. Now you live up to expectations of others.
Okay, so I know that's most of us here, right? You know, we just want to live up to everyone's expectations. We don't want to disappoint. And this is why we're at the bottom of the list or not on the list at all. And slowly, the real you, the essential you, got edited. And that's because you start putting everything else, you pile everything else on your plate and not you. Until maybe one day you woke up and you thought, where did she go? Or where did he go?
Mhm.
That
And the truth
person
is,
who,
so
yes, I'm sorry, I was gonna say that person, that dreamer, that kid, where did that inner child in me go? And I'm excited to say, it's time to recover your inner child.
now the truth is, she or he, they didn't disappear. They just got buried inside, deep, deep, deep inside, under all these expectations. And tonight, we are going to invite that persona back. We are going to bring it back to life. Now, imagine the space where you can fully breathe. And you don't have to be anyone's anything there. No roles, no cooking, no caretaking, nothing. Just you, held in nature and community, remembering who you really are. And right now, let's see. I would like you to do this in the space that you have. Just sit comfortably, please. Close your eyes. Untangle your feet. Let them feel the ground, the floor, wherever you are. Let your body settle a bit so it will feel very comfortable. Soften your belly. Let the breath be easy. Let's take a breath in and out. In and out. Let's do it one more time. In and out. Now I want you to picture yourself at age 7. So start imagining, where are you right now? What are you wearing? What is your hairstyle? Do you have any missing teeth? Are you barefoot or on some beach? Or maybe in the forest? Or maybe just running around the neighborhood? What's around you? Are you indoors? Outdoors? with friends, or maybe alone. What are you doing? Maybe singing, maybe drawing, climbing the trees, building something from Lego, maybe, pretending to be some imaginary thing. Just imagine what's happening at that moment. Use your five senses. What do you smell? What do you see? What do you touch? And now let's try and notice this. That 7 years old is so light. Very sparkle in her or his eyes. She or he is absolutely not worried about being too much or not enough. She's just being. She's just living her life to the fullest. And take a moment to be with her. Just observe. You don't have to say anything. What does she love? What made her laugh so hard her belly hurt? What made her feel free? If you would like, imagine that the you of today is kneeling down to her level and just holding her hand. And let her know, I see you. Yeah, you can hug her, definitely. I see you. I have missed you. And I am coming back for you. Take that moment. Feel it fully. And if and when you are ready, only when you are ready, gently return to this space. You can wiggle your fingers, roll the shoulders, take a breath, and slowly open your eyes. Don't rush that moment.
Olga, that was deep.
Oh my
And I
goodness,
know some of you don't want to come back. I know some of you don't want to come back from that. And it's okay. That version of you, she remembers the truth. Even if the adult in you forget it for a while. Take a few minutes more and grab your journal. And here's your prompt. What did I love doing before the world told me who to be? What did I love doing before the world told me who to be?
Yes, and let it be very simple and joyful. Don't filter it through your grown-up brain. You remember you're 7 years old at the moment, right? If you loved making friendship bracelet for imaginary fairies, write that down. If you loved singing into hairbrush and pretending you were Whitney Houston, write that down. And remember, this is not a resume. This is just remembering who you are right now. So we are going to give you a couple of minutes.
Mm, okay, are you still writing? It's okay to come on back if you're ready. You may have remembered something small or something big, something you haven't thought about in years. Let's open up the space for just a moment. If you feel free to share, you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat. But maybe it's was finger painting that you love doing. or making up dance routines, or reading under the covers with a flashlight. Go ahead and share something, one thing, one joy, one glimpse of who you were before you were told who to be. And as you were saying that, Olga, I remembered back in Trinidad as a kid, you know, I was the only child. I grew up with my, at that time I was with my paternal grandmother. And she had, I was the only child in the house. So the neighbor next door, close by, they had a lot of kids. So it was a big house with a couple of families living in this one house. But I remembered at night we used to go under the table, and I think they called it the bicycle, doing the bicycle. So we put our feet up, touching each other, and just move it. And that's what came to me. And it was so much fun. And it's like, and it's the fact that we don't play enough. That's the thing. Always pranking people with my brother, spontaneous and carefree. Yes.
I
Any
actually
more?
love playing with my brother as well. I enjoyed the company of my brother and his friends much more. He's 4.5 years older than me. I remember running around the neighborhood and, chasing each other, being soldiers and fighting each other. That's what I love. And um, I loved teaching my dolls. You already know that. And I also loved playing as a nurse, like doing medicinal stuff.
Yes. Any more shares?
Yes.
Whitney said, I was always joking around and laughing so much, also pranking everyone.
I think somebody wanted to share. Was it Judy?
Yes. My stepfather was into gardening, so we had a beautiful garden in the backyard. Um, and when the uh, fruit trees and the berries uh, got ripe or came to fruition, I would go in the backyard and the raspberries and the blackberries, I would break them off and eat them. And I'll just go around and take the berries off and throw them in my mouth. And I was trying to figure out how to get in the cherry tree, but I wasn't linky enough to climb the cherry tree. And then I would try to figure out how to, so I left the cherry tree alone. The cherries that fell on the ground, I got a couple of those off the ground, but, and then the neighbor had this big pear tree, and he was a mean old white man, and he didn't want nobody over there. And we would try to figure out how can we get over there and get some of them pears off his tree, because he would just let them fall and rot. And then I'm thinking of my neighbor to my left. They had a family of 10, and she cooked this big pot of pinto beans every single day. She cooked you could smell the smell, the aroma come through the screen door of the pinto beans. And I loved it, loved it, loved it, because we didn't have pinto beans smelling out the door every day. And I would walk the driveway of the yard so I could smell them. And I thought that was such a treat. But the mother, Mrs. Brown, would do that was her regular routine with the children every day because she cooked something separate for her husband. He had a different meal every day, but she had a regular pot of beans on every day. And I mentioned it to my mom one day, and I told her, I said, I don't know what I said about the beans, but my mother said, don't you, if you go over there, don't you ask her for nothing. If she offer you some, you say no, thank you. And I said, oh God, I don't want to say no, thank you. I want some pinto beans and cornbread. I definitely want some. And my mother said, but I said, well, if they talk, she'll find out if I had some. So I'm gonna have to say no, thank you. But these were some of my memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. That's a great share. Some of these memories, right? And you say, where is that person? And it comes back, right? So you can smell, I'm sure you can smell those pinto beans. Because now I could see myself under that table. I saw I'm sure everyone could remember the prank and the giggles, you know. So yes, Olga, look at all
Yes,
this.
so we are not doing some nostalgic work right now, right? We are just coming back to ourselves because you cannot design a life that is right for you if you don't know who you are. And right now, by remembering these moments, you basically come back to the real you before life got busy.
And that's the work. And that is so true. I know I was listening to one of my favorite speakers this morning, and one of the things he says, and it's in the scripture, a merry heart is like medicine. And he said to laugh. We were designed to laugh. We go back to those kids and laughter. Laugh every day. It could be so healing.
Just
So next.
Queenie said, sorry, I'm sorry that for interrupting. Queenie just said, right, I was never serious. And that's exactly what you're talking about. As kids, we were never serious. We were
That's right.
playing the game of life. And now it's so heavy, basically, living sometimes.
So true. So next we're going to talk about choice. And let me just say, this path is huge. I'm going to say it's not just huge, it's big in capital letters, BIG, cats. Because once you reconnect with your truth, you reach that moment where you have to decide, am I going to keep following the old script, or am I ready to start choosing myself, the real me, the real this time? We'll go there in a second. But first, for now, let's hold that little girl, that little boy close because they're not gone. They're still waiting for you to remember, right? So when we're at our retreat, and I'm gonna tease you guys about this retreat. I am so sorry. We're gonna be in Costa Rica, September the 21st to the 28th. And I'm gonna continue to tease you about it because it's just magical. In a couple of days, ah, I don't know, Olga. In less than 2 days, you felt so light that there was this sparkle until someone said to you, Olga, you look different than when you first came here. And even your videos were different. You were glowing. Okay, so I'm gonna just share a little bit of some. When we're on the retreat together, this moment, this remembering goes even deeper. You have the quiet, the space, the kind of stillness to let that little girl or that little boy feel safe enough to come back fully. And they do every time. So going back to choosing, that's the next letter in the ascent method.
And again, if we are going back to that red pill or blue pill, right? What pill are we going to choose right now?
That's right. So, okay, let's be honest again about this. This is the path where you begin to start to shift because it's one thing to know something isn't working, and it's a whole different thing to do something about it. And as I say that, Olga, I just want to share a challenge Olga and I've been going through. We've been running ads on Facebook, and we just can't find what's going wrong. Spent quite a bit of money, but it's just the investment. And it's going back to when you know something's not working, what do you do? So yesterday we had to reach out to the people that helped us prior to say, we need help. Something's not working. And they said, we're happy to help you. And they told us exactly what to do. And they said, okay, you run your next ad and we're going to be doing the assessment on the back end. So now because if we had stayed quiet, we would have been stuck. But now we're expecting to have that shift. So as I was saying, that reminded me of that.
And
So,
when something is not working, you can journal about it, of course.
yes.
You can cry it out. You can share it with somebody else. Some people share it on Facebook. And you can attend every self-help workshop in existence, right? But until you make that decision, nothing actually changes. And actually, these self-help workshops, they're very influential, every single one of them. But sometimes what I notice for myself, I go to this workshop, and going into a workshop, I say to myself, okay, 3 days later, my life is going to change. And then again, nothing changes. I go to the next one. Oh my goodness, this time it's going to change. Nothing changes. So how many times is it going to take? It's me, right? I have to make that choice. And until I do, nothing is going to change. Now,
And that is so true.
I'm not talking about rearranging the furniture choice, right? That can be very simple and you can see the results right away. But these choices are actually they're harder to make because it involves actually stepping outside of that comfort zone. Just like Jay was saying, if you keep yourself in that safe zone, it's not scary, but it's also not growing.
And Olga, as you said, as you use the word harder, it kind of brought me back to, going back to the words we use, right? So I would like to switch that word harder to say it's uncomfortable.
Yes. Thank you.
It is uncomfortable. Because we all know that we go back to the same old the hamster wheel. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired, you wake up tired, you do everything for everyone else. You swallow your truth because you're not saying yes to you. But tell yourself it's just a busy season. Except the season never ends. Okay, so we just keep lying to ourselves. For example, I said yes to my first retreat, and that I'm glad I did because it really changed my life. Because of it, I'm now here with you and guiding you through this breakthrough. Now, my purpose, I wasn't sure what my purpose was. And as I went to my first retreat, I said, I'm going to seek out what it is. Why am I here? Who am I? And what do I want? And on the peaceful confines of nature and walking the beach, I started to get more clarity of what my purpose is. And I was already doing all the things that I'm doing now, not in this format, but I was always helping people. I was always supporting others. And it just made it quite clear this is my journey. And here I am. And this is why I love hosting retreats. And that's why my name is the Retreat Maven. So that's my share. So, just moving on to the real life story of Shonda Rhimes, Year of Yes. So let me share tell you a little something about you, sorry. I want to share a little bit about Shonda Rhimes. She's the powerhouse behind the shows Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, one of the most successful TV producers of our time. From the outside, she had it all. But in her memoir, Year of Yes, she admits she was living small. She was saying no to everything but scared to speak in public. She was scared to do interviews. She was scared of saying, because she was burnt out and hiding behind success. She was saying no to everything she was scared to. Then one day her sister casually said, "You never say yes to anything." And she stopped her in her tracks and said, I'm going to decide for the next year. I would say yes to anything that scared me and what aligns with who I am, my deeper truth.
So she said yes to her body, yes to joy, yes to her kids asking her to play on the floor. Because before she was, I am busy, I am doing this, I am doing that. But now she decided to say yes. And yes to saying no, actually. That's a huge one. To things that no longer fit. And that year changed her life forever. And that didn't make her more successful. She was already successful before that, right? But she stopped tolerating a life that didn't feel like hers anymore. And now she lived her life to the fullest. Everything that was aligning with her inner truth, with her values, she would say yes to. Raise up your hand if you would like to live like that. I actually don't see many faces at all. Yes, I see you. Once
Right.
you're sharing your screen, it's kind of to the side.
Yeah,
I only see
it gets tricky.
Yes.
So, but Shonda didn't change her life by changing her career. She changed it by changing her choices. She realized that success without alignment is just another kind of prison. That's a big one. Success without alignment is just another prison. One where the walls are made of praise and the bars are made of fear.
Can you feel it? It's a prison where the walls are made of praise, right? We are trying to please everybody. And the bars are made of fear. We are not going to go that extra mile because we are afraid.
That's right. The real shift came when she stopped performing and started participating fully, playfully, imperfectly, in her own life. That's the lesson. You don't have to flip your life upside down to feel like yourself again. Sometimes the shift begins with one brave yes and the quiet decision to stop pretending, even in the smallest ways. Again, and we've seen this happen at the retreat. That one yes that changes everything. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's just honest. And when you're surrounded by people who are choosing their truth, it gets easier to believe you're allowed to choose yours. So, what if you choose to stop waiting for permission? Say it out loud or whisper it to yourself. I'm not waiting anymore. Let your body feel that. I'm not waiting anymore. What happens if you believe that?
Would you like to share anything? What does it do to you? What do you feel inside if you say that to yourself? I am not waiting anymore.
Okay. So we're going to take it a little deeper.
Yes. Now you don't need a sign from the universe, right? You don't need anybody's permission. Nobody has to tell you that you are allowed. It's your birthright. You are the sign. And you are allowed right now, this moment. And Samira says she feels freedom and peace. Definitely.
Yes. And that's Aug's word, freedom.
Oh, yes.
So what am I ready to stop tolerating? So that's what we're going to do, take it a little step deeper.
Grab your journal and let your thoughts flow on the paper. Just 1 minute. We are not going to give you too much time right now.
Yes. What am I ready to stop tolerating? Think about the invisible stuff you've been putting up with, the self-doubt, the one-sided relationships. Mm-hmm.
The way you rest.
Yep.
The job that pays your bills but steals your joy.
And I would say don't censor it. Just put a name to it, whatever that name is.
Can I just add something? Diane and I are working on our first anthology right now. We have 12 brave souls that are taking part in that project. And when I was reading their stories, that's exactly what they're talking about. some of them overcame some challenges, right? And they're teaching others how to do the same. And just last night, I was reading the story where one person was saying that her life was not hers. She was on in the passenger seat all the time. And it took guts, it took courage, it took lots of stepping outside of the comfort zone for her to actually get to the driver's side. And that's exactly what we are doing right now.
You know, guys, you see that I think this is our calling. I think, I think this is our moment in time. And as you say that, I just recall our numbers. Because when we think we're all alone, it's not just us. We had 3,000 people look at our page, our ad. 1,000 went as far as the page. Now we don't know yet what's blocking, right? What's the hindrance? Okay, but that's a significant number. It's huge. So when that breakthrough and that shift happens, go wait till tweaking that ad, and it could be just one word. Okay, just that one word to connect. But we trust God. And the more we think about that, I was telling Olga today, I says, this is our calling, and you have yours. And we want you to discover yours and really let it explode. Ah, my heart is full. What are you ready to stop tolerating? Maybe it's procrastination? That's a big one. Not facing our truth.
Yep. So if you are ready, just drop one truth that you are choosing today. Even if it's something tiny, something like, I am choosing to believe I deserve joy in life. Or I'm choosing to stop apologizing for taking up space. Or that's a big one. We have been talking about that today many, many times. I am choosing to stop making myself small to keep the peace. What is your truth? What are you choosing today?
You can type it in the chat. We're open for shares. Because every time someone shares, it gives someone else permission to choose too. I'm going to say that again, because this reminds me of when we hosted our last retreat. And this was a 3-day retreat, and everyone had shared except for one person. And James had stopped in on via Zoom, and he was just checking in on us to see how it was going. And everyone said everything was so great, everyone shared and felt that connection. And he went around the room to see, how did we all share and what we had to say. And one person said, did you, I didn't share my story. And he said to her, which I will never forget, he said, don't be selfish. They all shared their story. You should share yours. And that made the big difference. She broke down in tears, not because she didn't want to share her story, but it was hard to face her truth. So that was huge. And that was a huge breakthrough, not just for her, just for us, because I will never forget that. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing, because you don't know the life you're going to change by sharing. And this is why we're so excited about our anthology, our anthologies. Let's make that plural.
Look at that, Queenie. I am choosing to believe I am more and a queen of hearts for a reason. Yes, you are.
Yes. And this is why Queen of Hearts always show up for her. She sees hearts everywhere.
I don't see the emojis thing. I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
But I would love to give you the heart emoji, Winnie.
okay. So what's next? Oh, this is so full. So every time someone shares, it gives someone else permission. These are just interruptions to the loop you've been stuck in, to the tolerations you've normalized. So we're gonna close with some reflection. One real decision. Here's the thing. You don't have to know the next 5 steps. You just have to make one real decision. One true choice that says, I'm not living on autopilot anymore. Who's ready to stop living on autopilot?
To stop living on autopilot.
Yeah, to stop living on autopilot. Who's ready?
Yes. And choosing is how we come back to life. Now, choosing doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to announce that to the world, right? It doesn't have to be huge or big or whatever. It's just your decision, but it has to be yours, not anybody else's. Because the moment you start tolerating something that drains you and choose something that honors you, that's the moment when something begins to change.
That's right. So the next step up is we move to embodying, because it's the one thing to choose something, it's another to start living like it's already yours. Talk about fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Let's start embodying the process.
And I really hope that by this moment in time, we're already about 90 minutes in, you have seen something sparkle. You have felt something. Maybe you have already made the choice. Maybe. But here is the thing. This is where many people get stuck because they think the change is done already. That was exactly me, right? Attending all these self-development workshops. Once you make that choice to attend, that's my choice to attend. But what do you do next? Right?
Going back to taking action, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Olga said, you can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, do all the journaling, and cry in the bath and go to a retreat. But if you get up tomorrow and live exactly the way you did before, nothing actually shifts. So it goes back again to choice.
Mm-hmm. And this is where we move from knowing, because we already know. We move into becoming. And that happens through one simple, tiny thing, practice. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's not going to happen overnight. Just small, deliberate, consistent ways of living like the version of you that already exists. And you know that it exists in there, right? You know she is still there or he is still there.
You know, and the story of Beyonce, Sasha Fierce. And everybody knows Beyonce, but her alter ego is Sasha Fierce. And Beyonce said that she created her on purpose because the real Beyonce, believe it or not, was shy on stage. So she imagined a future version of herself, bold, powerful, grounded. And when she stepped on stage, she became Sasha Fierce. Eventually, she didn't need the alter ego anymore because she had become the woman she once had imagined. That's the
And
power
that's
of
the thing,
mind.
right? Very powerful thing. We don't become someone new by thinking about her. Although thinking is a huge part of a process as well. We become her by leading, like she's already here. And that's why on our retreat, or on any other retreat, everything is designed to let you practice being her or him. Not just talking about her, but actually being. From the way your meals are prepared, and you don't have to actually think about that, right? You don't have to think about dishes. You don't have to think about anything. You just go through the rainforest. Maybe you enjoy your coffee at the river, and the group is going to hold the space for you. You don't have to do anything. You just get to be yourself.
And that brings me to a really great piece here, Olga, where you're going to walk us through a guided visualization.
Yes. Okay. Let's try something together. Deep breath.
Yes.
Let's. One more time. Again, find a comfortable position. Your feet are on the floor. Close your eyes. Just make sure your body is relaxed and very comfortable. Now, I want you to imagine you walk into a room. Big, 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 nice, very decorated, very colorful room. And you see a woman across the room. She's standing tall. She is grounded. She's very calm. And there is something magnetic about her. You are drawn to her. Now she turns, and it's actually you. But not the version of you from today, before this workshop. That's the version of you who has already made the change. She has chosen herself. She is not hustling for worth. She is not second guessing her voice. She is not performing anymore. She is just being. Watch her. Notice how she moves through the space. How she carries herself. How she makes decisions. How she speaks. With clarity, with softness, with certainty. Now walk over to her and stand beside her. Feel her presence. And gently ask her, what do I need to start practicing to become you? Let me repeat this question. What do I need to start practicing to become you? Let it land. And let whatever comes come. Listen to her. Now, when you're ready, take a breath and return to the space. Do it slowly.
Now it's time for a little bit more journaling. What do you think, Olga?
Yes, big time.
How does the next version of me speak, move, and choose?
Right as you are describing a woman you admire deeply, that's the woman who has been speaking to you just now in your meditation. And remember, that woman is you, not anybody else, it's you. Give her words, give her energy, describe her presence, her pace, her boundaries. And we will take a couple of minutes.
And while they're doing that reflection, Olga, I have one more question. What's one habit you've been holding on to that no longer aligns with who you are becoming? What is one habit that's not serving you?
Then give them a few examples.
Excuse me?
Give them a couple of examples.
Oh, sorry. Maybe it's saying yes when you mean no. So what are some habits that you've been holding on to that no longer serve you? It might be speaking with hesitation instead of clarity. It might be putting your needs last. You don't have to fix it all tonight. Just name one thing, one habit. That future you would kindly, lovingly say, we don't do that anymore. And I really like this. It's called a habit swap up. You get rid of a bad and bring in a new.
Okay. Would you like to share what came up for you for any of these questions? So the first one, let me repeat. What's one habit I have been holding? Oh, sorry, that's the second one. How does the next version of me speak, move, and choose? So what would you like to be basically? And what's one habit I have been holding onto that no longer aligns with who I am becoming? Munir, I see you. And gentlemen, by the way, side note, I know in our meditations we say she and her all the time, but we definitely understand that it's you as well. So I just don't know, maybe it's my English, but I don't know how to make both genders or make it gender neutral.
Any shares? It's quite personal.
It is. Okay, so let's move on. Now you can see right now that she's not waiting for you in some far off future. She's here and she's just waiting for you to start walking her way, one moment at a time. And remember that saying, you become what you practice. Diane just wanted to ask you a question. Johnny's video, would you like to play it? Or maybe later?
Later, yeah.
Later. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
I have chills.
I know.
Goosebumps. Okay.
Next, we'll talk about what it means to nurture the version of you that's waking up because she is still tender, still finding her footing, and she deserves care. So next, we're going to go to that next letter, nurturing. The version of you needs care, not control. So let's pause for a second. We've been pausing for a while. So this is reflection here, right? Because what we're doing tonight, the kind of work we're doing, the inner work, is not light. It brings things up. As Olga said, it's heavy. It opens you. It asks you to get honest about things you might have been carrying around for years.
And that's why this step, nurturing, is so important. Because if we're not careful enough, we start turning personal growth into a to-do list. And we are big on that, our to-do lists. We start measuring our healing by how much we are getting done or how productive we are being with our breakthroughs. But remember that healing is not linear. There are definitely ups and downs. And it's also not fast. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's not neat. Sometimes it's going to be messy. Many times it's going to be messy.
You can't bulldoze your way through transformation. You've probably tried. So have we. You know what it's like to be the high achiever who treats growth like another performance. But at some point, your body, your soul, they tap out. You start waking up tired, even after sleeping. You start feeling numb in the middle of a good life.
And let me tell you a story, and I think many of you will be able to resonate with that. So many times in my life, I decided to get serious about my health. Have you done that? Okay. So I sat down. What did I do? I created a list, of course. Of course, right? So what is on my list? I have to eat clean, drink 8 glasses of water every day, and then walk 10,000 steps every day, and then exercise for 30 minutes minimum again every single day. Stretch, sleep for 8 hours, journal about it, like all of that. It's a list, right? Looked beautiful, amazing. You know what happened? Of course, life takes over. Yeah, exactly. So now I miss a step. Maybe one day I cannot walk 10,000 steps because it's lots of paperwork or whatever. Maybe another day I just cannot eat healthy because I am not at home. And what happens then? Okay, you blew it. You will restart next Monday. Right? How many times did it happen to me? You can imagine. You can imagine. I didn't even count how many times. So that's the whole story I am telling myself, right? It's for me, it used to be either everything or nothing. There is no in the middle. And now I know that it's not about a list and it's not about performance, right? I have to be very compassionate to myself because I know I have lives and I have roles and I have responsibilities. That means that not always I can hit everything on my list. I don't even need that list, right? It's just about catching myself and choosing differently next time. That's it.
Yep. Having compassion,
Yes.
grace. We both know what it feels like to grow through exhaustion, to hold it all together, even the healing for everyone else. But what if that next level of your life actually starts with softness? We say this often at Ascend to Purpose. Your transformation doesn't have to be earned, it doesn't have to be hard. You deserve spaces like this one, like the retreat, where growth comes with gentleness, not pressure. Again, as I said, my friend always says, soft and pink. And we're going to share a little video of our next location for Ascent to Purpose.
Here you go.
But this is Verdesana by Imaloa. This is where we're going to be keeping our next retreat, September the 21st to the 28th. And as I look at that video, I just remembered the time spent there. It was so awesome.
Diane, can I tell my story? You mentioned it briefly, but Diane and I went there for our fam trip. Basically, every facilitator that hosts there, we come on a trip to actually experience the location. We only came for 3 days, right? It was 3 days or 3
4
nights
days.
even. 4 days, 3 nights. Okay. We came late at night, and when we were walking the path, I'm like, what am I doing here? What is going to happen? Like, it's so dark. Nothing is here. There is no TV. There is no entertainment. You know, I'm used to big not retreat centers, big
Hotels.
hotels, exactly, right? There are no people around. It's just us, and that's it. And we were not taught anything, right? In your retreat, we are going to be doing lots of inner work, but in this case, we just had a few experiences that you are going to experience as well. And then we had lots of conversations in between us. That's what happened. Of course, we had to see every single corner of that retreat center. But then on the last day, I was walking the path. And by the way, let me tell you some side story, right? When I came there, I was very heavy, like emotionally. I was going through a lot and I had no idea what to expect. Now, on the last day of the retreat, the owner of that place, he looked at me and he said, "Girl, I have no idea why you came here, but I think you came here for yourself." And Diane can actually vouch for that. I was a different person just from being there. Nothing happened, right? Nothing special happened from experiencing that. Maybe it's the nature, maybe it's the people. I don't know what it was, but I was a different person at the end.
And then that's the beauty. I think that place is so healing. But
Yes.
outside of all of that, Olga is so true. You walk in and you just feel light. When I said not heavy, that you like you want to float, like you're walking on air, and it's very peaceful, and there's lots to do, and we will be doing a lot of inner work, and but there's also time for luxury. So it's luxury meets nature. So self-care isn't a luxury, it's survival. And if anyone have any questions or they want to learn more about the retreat, you can reach out to me. I know we're running short on time. So here's the reframe we want to offer you. Self-care isn't luxury. It's not a reward. It's not a spa day. It's survival. It's oxygen. It's healing. It's what allows you to stay with yourself as you grow instead of abandoning yourself in the name of improvement.
And you don't have to push harder, right, in order to build your life. You just have to listen to yourself. That's exactly what you did tonight. You started listening to yourself. You start giving yourself permission to do what you actually need. I don't like that word need, but that's something that you're craving for. Not what looks good anymore, right? But what feels good for you.
So we have one last,
Almost.
we have a journal prompt, and I know we're coming short on time, so we're gonna because Saturday we're gonna close this out, okay? And it's gonna go a little deeper, but we just wanted to finish the acronyms of Ascend. Explain that. Welcome, Doris. So the next one is, what does support, not pressure, look like for you? What does
So maybe,
support,
sorry.
not pressure, look like?
So it may be the permission to rest without guilt. And oh my goodness, every single time I try to rest, I feel so guilty for not doing more. it's, it's something that is not serving me good. Maybe it's actually calling a friend and talking what's on your heart. Maybe it's putting a boundary in place without even explaining yourself. It is what it is. Or maybe it's something very, very tiny, like turning your phone off for 30 minutes and doing nothing, absolutely nothing. Let's take a couple of minutes, maybe 1 minute this time.
What does support, not pressure, look like for you? And this is why we love doing this, because we love to walk alongside you. You're not alone. And we would love to invite you to share, because we may have to close out. What do you think, Olga? And pick up on Saturday, or allow for grace?
I think we're just going to give them some homework, and then we're going to close it.
As a matter of fact, there's only one more design.
Yes. But definitely do the next one.
Yes. So who would like to share? I know it's very late for Munera. Doris said, recognition of needing space to honor my feelings. Deep.
Definitely. And community is the best, basically, source of that space.
Important, yeah. So I would say, since you've come this far, you get to design what happens next. And that's what we're stepping into, designing. The part where it comes together.
Sorry, can you, would you like to do that? Because I think it's very important.
Self-hold? Okay.
Yep. Me.
I missed self-hold, I'm sorry. So with self-hold, it's coming back to self. And it's to put one hand on your heart, put the other one to support you. It's like an anchor. Close your eyes, soften your gaze, and take a slow breath. Feel your own heartbeat, your own warmth, and repeat this quietly to yourself. It's okay to go slow. I don't have to do it all at once. I am allowed to take care of me. It's holding onto you, the inner you. And I just feel like loving on me, the inner me. Self-hold.
Let's repeat this one. Please, one by one. Again, let it land for you. It's okay to go slow. I don't have to do it all at once. I am allowed to take care of me. Beautiful.
This is the last letter in Ascend, designing. Start building the life that actually fits you. You've come to the final piece of the Ascend method, and it's a powerful one, designing. This is where it comes together, where insight becomes direction, where awareness becomes action, and where you start deliberately shaping a life that fits who you are now.
And we are not going to create a 5-year plan. We are not going to create a to-do list, no. And we are not going to reinvent your whole life by Monday, also no. It's about this. It's about asking. Now that I have remembered who I am, what needs to shift so my life reflects that? And you know what, Diane, what I propose? Please write that question down, and we are going to close for today because it's a huge one. We are going to come back to the rest on Saturday. But that's going to be your homework. Now that I have remembered who I am, what needs to shift so my life reflects that? Now remember that it's not a full map. If you remember these days when we had these books with maps, right? And you had to actually go through many, many pages in order to get from point A to point B. No, you don't need that. You just need a direction, a light at the end of a tunnel, right? You need to see something. But see something that honors you, honors your truth. Again, not the version of you that is performing, not the version of you that is staying quiet, that doesn't want to get outside of that comfort zone. Not the version of you pleasing others, not the version of you surviving. It's the version of you that wants to try. It's the version of you that wants to be that 7-year-old, that happy, joyful, vibrant, everything.
Yes, but before we wrap up, and I know it's been kind of deep, so if you can come on camera and kind of share a little bit, we're going to continue on. And like Olga said, Olga's a teacher here, she gives homework. So she gave you some homework, and we're going to pick this up on Saturday at 10 a.m. sharp, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know we have people from around the world, so it's 10 until 12. It's only 2 hours. And we're going to wrap it up in the next session. I mean, complete the ascend method on Saturday in the next session. So before we wrap it up, I guess we could stop sharing and see what feedback or hear what questions or whatever comes to heart that you want to share.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Today's session is God sent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You made me dig really deep. I didn't even have the energy. I was so sleepy, but I does you. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Munira. Thank you. Received.
Yes. Any more shares?
I want to say thank you also. And I don't know how many. This is not a send your path when I think, it's since 2020, the beginning of COVID, I've been asking all these questions. And I'm in this community, is still asking the same question. I don't know how many journals I've made and written asking all the same questions. So it's kind of like bringing me back to it. But the difference then and now, um, you remember, oh yeah, Paul is here. I'm gonna say, I keep asking myself what I want, what I want. 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I was like completely like blind. I don't see nothing. And I ask exactly all of the same question. I don't see nothing. But I keep repeating, 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 repeating. And then God is really moved in a very mysterious way. Like I I could have met so many people, but I met you guys to ask me repeating the same question. It's just like, okay, I just have to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. The difference is before I don't have not one teeny tiny bit of light that you're talking about, Olga. But because I keep repeating and repeating and it keeps showing up, I don't know. I'm getting like some kind of light already. Like, I'm seeing it and I think it's because being in the community and with James, and then after I'm still with you guys, which is kind of like, sort of different community, but the same. Um, it's I know eventually it's like God is giving me little bit, little bit, doesn't want to give me everything. It's like only giving me those Christmas light bulb, not the chandelier yet. So I'm getting something. Or maybe there is just inner knowing that I probably know, I just probably not admitting it. So it's probably that. Probably just wanting to make sure if that is what I really want. Or or maybe not even the want. Maybe that is really the calling for me. It's like it's probably there. Vine already told me so many times, already showed me all the signs, already all the different kind of so many small and big synchronicity and you name it, all the signs and um aha moment, like conversations, many, many, many conversations from different people in our community. And I get like, oh my God, God is speaking to me. And probably I'm just, I forgot which letter was it that you guys saying. Probably it's there, but I'm not acknowledging it. Maybe it's screaming into me and I'm not, uh, probably I'm not acknowledging it or I don't know. But I'm getting there. I'm getting something compared before I could not get. Um, the first year not getting, second year still not a little bit, and it's third year now. Okay, now I know. Fourth year is it's like yeah, this is my experience from my journey, and I think you remember Olga. I wasn't speaking at all. Now I think I'm speaking more. Because I'm pushing myself to speak more. Um, Going back to the question, what we were like doing when you're like little. I think I've always been speaking. It's my personality. I've always like something happened in between that I stop. And the community I think is slowly, slowly. even before the ascend your path, I think it slowly bring me back to that, and then the ascend your path, I think, is making it clearer for me to uh um like it's bringing me back before the whole thing, but it's confirming with the ascend your path. I don't know, something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Queenie, I encourage you actually, because you have these Christmas lights already, right? You have something.
Yes.
Continue searching for your chandelier. Continue.
Oh yeah, that's what I have been doing. The chandelier in the surface, in the space, that's what I've been seeing. So that's why I use the word chandelier. And then outside of that space, I would use sunlight. Um, something about sunlight that uh the energy of the sun, I think.
So in listening to Queenie, and I just want to say, and I know I love you so much, but sometimes we have to really say, do we have to wait for all the answers?
Mm.
Let's go back to what Dr. Martin Luther King says. You don't have to see the entire staircase. Just take one step. Okay. So so and I'm not saying it's there's no time frame, no. Okay. So whatever step whatever you see, that light bulb, that's a step. Yield to the light bulb. Because because you're gonna go get led to another one and then to another one. And before you know it, it's the chandelier. you know so I would say, and we've had several conversations and all the things you want to do. Okay, so sometimes we gotta listen to the voice and take action. And going back to the Paul he always talks about taking action. Take that step. Maybe you need to ask yourself, what is holding me back? Okay, what is that? What is the so asking, to go back to what Jim always talk about, ask the right questions. What is holding me back? Because the answers are already in you. You already have the answer. You have all the answer you need. So now you go back to this. This is another your homework, and you got to come back on Saturday with your homework. And maybe we gotta have them we never have you text me your homework. Now that you've remembered who you are, what needs to shift so my life reflects that? Okay. So you have the answers, but you know the answer. Take the action.
And that is the first step I'm doing on September. I told you.
Yes. Yes.
That is for
Yes.
me, that is the biggest for me.
And it
Step out
starts
of my
now.
comfort zone.
It starts now.
Yes.
Don't wait for September. It
Yeah.
starts now.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Any more? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Any more shares, Carrie?
So, but I don't understand that we do need to shift, and we need to reflect and become a new version of ourselves, because the old is not working. So it's like they say, insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. So we keep doing the same thing, and then you're crazy because you expect the same result every day. It doesn't work. So I know that. I mean, out here, I need to bring it down here to my heart. Yeah.
So Judy is asking, what is the homework? So Judy, if you have your pen, your homework is, now that I've remembered who I am, what needs to shift so my life reflects that? So you go back to that 7-year-old, that inner child. What needs to shift to really bring back that inner child? So any shares before we close out and then we're going to reconvene on Saturday. Olga, I'm going to give you the chance to to do the final words and do the wrap up.
Yes. So, first of all, thank you for being with us here. And we really hope that today's conversation actually stirred something in you. And I know it did. I know. I'm 100% sure. Now, I am going to we are going to send you a follow-up email with a recording and with that question, with your homework. And let me just actually paste that in the chat as well right now. So you will be able to grab it from the chat until I send that email.
So Jay, while August doing that, you have a share or Paul?
Here. Paul, we cannot hear you.
You gotta unmute yourself. Yeah, you're not. Let me see if I could unmute Paul.
No, he's still muted. Okay, here you go.
Okay.
How about now?
Yes,
Good.
good.
No, this is great. You ask the right questions and so forth. Again, as I always say, we are all different. And I think it was great. It was really great. I do not ask myself questions. What is holding me? What is holding me? Not that this is not a good question. It's an excellent question. What is holding me and so forth? For me, time is of the essence. I'm always asking my question, what do I want to do now? And how do I get there? And I'm always struggling with what I'm going to do versus what I want to stop doing. I don't care what I'm going to stop doing. I don't even think about it. What am I going to do now? And as you, Diane, said, and you always say, it is not enough to say what you want to do. It's not even enough to know how you're going to do it. If you don't take action, it's almost as if you did not even ask the question. So what you said before, I think it's perfectly okay. And many people should say, what should we stop doing, etc., etc. I don't have time for that. I want to rush and say, what do I want? What is my destination? What is my journey? What am I going to do to get there? So I'm always rushing to what am I going to do today? What am I know exactly what I'm going to do today, 5 days from now, a month from now, a year from now, 20 years from now. I know exactly where I'm going. So what is it that I need to do? How am I going to do it? And I must take action. Otherwise, without taking action, it is just hallucination and wishful thinking. So it was beautiful today. And the most important thing is not what you ask. The most important thing, do the damn thing. Do it. Take action. And I think that's the most important thing. Thank you.
But I'm glad you said that, Paul, because this journey for Olga and I, and most of you know us, Carrie have known me the most. Carrie, Carrie have known me for over 20 years. And so with Olga, it's almost about 5 years. Queen, it's about 4. Judy, it's been a while. And yes, and when we measured the growth, Carrie was saying to me, "Girl, I've seen how much you've grown." So yes, and it came from taking action. Feeling fearful, but doing it anyway. Doing the webinars. This is new to us. And we're like, we're gonna do it. Are we gonna F up? Yeah, but it's okay. So what? Nobody remembers that. As long as I come from heart, that's all that matters. And I put God first. And I said, God, speak to me and through me. Is my heart to yours. So, Olga?
Yes, I just, Paul, I wanted to add something. I think, in my opinion, um, asking that question, what should I stop doing, is extremely important as well. So just
Absolutely.
say, for example, if I want to lose weight, I 100% know what I have to do. But if I'm going to do all that and eat 10 cups of sugar per day, nothing is going to help me. So I have to know what's stopping me. I have to understand that. And that's why in our framework, we do ask these questions, because sometimes we can be doing the action and not getting the results. Why? Because, yes, something is stopping us. It might be an old belief that, that is actually holding us back, literally. It can be anything, but it's important to clear the path and move forward. Yes, action is extremely important, moving one step at a time. But again, it's trial and error, just like Diane and I are doing that webinar, right? Right now, our Facebook ads are not working, as Diane told you, right? Now we have to understand what's stopping us from getting all these signups. And if we don't understand, we can pour more and more and more money into Facebook ads, and we are not going to get any results.
Can I just share something?
Yeah,
I think
can I just answer that?
Yeah.
Olga, I totally agree with you. I was not criticizing what you're doing. I'm just saying I am in such a hurry. I am rushing into doing what I want to do. I'm not. No, no. What you did is perfectly understandable. I do it all the time. I stop whatever is not working for me. But when I plan what I am going to do, that means I am planning what I am to do, and of course I am stopping what I am not doing. I just don't think about it that much. But yes, I do that too. Sorry, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you.
I am not criticizing.
Thank you, Paul.
And I don't think you were criticizing Paul. You
No,
just made
exactly.
a point.
No. Yeah.
No. I don't think that was meant to be criticism. It's just the fact that it was a highlight,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we are all different, Paul. You said it correctly.
we are very different.
There is no one solution fits all, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Yeah.
I love Diane's expression. It's like a grocery store, right? You take what you need and you don't take what you don't.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know. So Queenie, make it a laser shade, 9 o'clock.
We are
So
going, yeah, and we're
okay.
going to wrap
and
up.
let's close out.
I think sometimes what happened is this is like my experience. I came from a background of like always knowing what I want. In I was just a go-getter, and I just don't care about what people think. I don't care about a lot of those stuff. I'm a kind of person, I like to try, and because I'm curious, I'm always curious. I would like to try. I don't even have to know if I really want it, like it, or whatever. But something happened in between that forget about asking question, like whether you're asking the right question or not asking. It's just like completely messed up, and it cannot organize the brain to do the step by step. When in the past, I was like, okay, I don't even write down. I have it in my brain. I know what to do next. Like Paul, I used to be like, okay, it's just like I'll be like sitting like this, and I would program it in my head, and I know what to do next, what I want. But something happened in between that you can't, it's like cannot process, not absorbing anything, and it's so much mess up. It's like it's like having like salad in my brain, like it's all messed up. I could not program. Let's say if I'm going on a trip and you know exactly what you need to bring, it takes me like hours and hours and hours, like why I cannot process what to bring. I'm stuck with one item, passport. Why I could not, and I have pen and paper. Something happened with the brain, and then you could read everything, you could talk to anyone. Like you cannot take any action when you don't know. It's just like the brain is stop operating, and that was my biggest struggle for me for so many years. And for me, the only question I could ask myself is, what happened? Why I'm not processing anything? Why I cannot process this? And sometimes I lose a lot of words and made me stop speaking. So it's like it's I don't know if I went to shock, when somebody went into shock and they stop speaking and they just collect this, no expression, no thinking, nothing, something like that is. And I'm trying to figure out what happened, and then slowly I'm figuring it out, um until I completely see. Then it would be kind of like difficult, but now I'm seeing everything, like I said. um it's like God is like giving me one ingredient at a time before I could be able to cook a really good meal. So it's kind of like that is like my experience, and it's like every every webinar, every book, every conversation, every experience, it's like I'm getting that light, and eventually it's going to be a chandelier, because taking action is easy to do the first step when you know where you're going. Like you have an idea of a little bit of where you're going. If I know I want to go to Costa Rica, I know for sure the very first thing I'm going to do is get my passport. And then now I have my passport in my bag. What is next? I could not go through that process. It's completely like something happened that I don't know what happened, that I went into that, and all the time I was asking, I want to be removed from that state. It's like I don't, it's like it's all of a sudden I don't speak English anymore. I could not understand anything. Nothing is processing. But it's getting clear now. And that is my experience. And I think the repetition made me remember. Um, um, it's like I'm sure Paul could say this thing, how in science, because I'm not scientific. Like the more you keep repeating, if someone get into shock, and a child stops speaking and got traumatized, and all of a sudden, there is something like that, and like exercises, and they start learning one word, two word, three words. Next thing you know, they're able to think again and speak again, something like that. Yeah,
So, so,
which is
so
very
Queenie,
deep and profound for me, because um yeah.
I'm gonna say and reframe it. In the past, I may have.
Yeah, in the
We
past.
love that. In the past, I may have.
Yes.
So I know, guys, it's late. So we know we're gonna close this out on Saturday morning, and so we gotta do a couple of sessions, but you have a time. No, you have time to process, and you get the replay. When are they getting the replay, Olga?
Tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Like the
no
whole
later than
thing,
tomorrow. You have the
everything, the
replay
whole thing.
tomorrow. So
Huh?
tomorrow today's what? Today's Wednesday, right? So
Thursday.
Thursday. So you have Thursday, Friday, and you'll be ready for Saturday morning. So Saturday morning just go by fast. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm thrilled.